So what is going on, guys? Welcome to this new series where I am building my own body on the race car. I know that's not a big deal to a lot of people because they already do that. But I've never built a body on my race car, and I don't have a sheet metal brake. I have a set of electric shears, a hammer, and something I can kind of bend stuff around. So yeah, we're going to build our own body on the race car. Plus, with me having a little bit of extra time this week, I can put in a lot of hours on the car. So I think that's going to be in my favor. And plus, I want to learn how to do it. I really want to learn how to put a body together, make it look good, so on and so forth. But anyways, yesterday I actually shot a video of me putting the nose piece and tail piece on the car and doing some cooling duct work with the car. I wasn't happy with the video. I'll be straight up honest with you guys. Not a big fan of it. It just did not turn out to the way I wanted it. I don't feel like it would have been a good video, so I just pretty much scrapped the whole project, the whole video from yesterday, and I'm just going to show you guys what I did yesterday and start over today with more sheet metal work and try to get as far as I can today. So with that being said, I'm about to head to John Page Racing. We're going to pick up some sheet metal, and I'll meet you guys back at the shop. Alright guys, so I am back from John Page Racing. I bought two 4x10 sheets of aluminum, which should more or less match that nose piece. My goal is to finish this whole front section up here today and maybe even start on some sides and quarters. I know I need to get some more sheets, but this is just what I got for right now. I'll go back and get more as I need it. I also got we had these left over from our giveaway with these giant TV boxes, and they're actually pretty useful for making body templates. So I'm going to be using that. I got some spare pieces over there as well. So this should make it a little bit easier. So first thing I'm going to make is the filler panel to go between the top of the nose here and the brace that we had to fix from last year, and then I'll do the sides. The first thing I'm going to do is just take some measurements. I'm going to go from this bar to the furthest point away here, which I believe is 14 inches, well about 14 inches. And then I'm going to get an overall width, which is 65 3/4, and that'll give me my basic shape, and then I'll come in here and I'll start shaping this a little bit more. Alright, so I got my measurements laid out right here, so we need to go 14 inches down, make a mark, and I apologize, I know y'all can't see what I'm doing over here, but I'm kind of limited on how much room I got. Alright, so I had to make another piece because I already made a mistake, but got that fixed. Now I'm just going to kind of freehand a curve to match the curve of the nose here, and then I'm going to bend my sheet metal back here, mount it up, and hopefully move on to the next piece. Alright, so I just marked the piece I'm going to cut out next, and then I'm going to bend these tabs down and go ahead and mount it to this bar here. And then I may do some more trimming and whatnot. It's right on center where it needs to be, so I'll leave this loose in case I need to start shaping it a little bit more. Alright, so we got everything lined up now. I'm going to rivet the back side of this onto this tubing, and once I do that, I will put 2 rivets in up here and get the nose kind of sitting where it needs to be, and then I'll trim off a little bit more of this because I believe this one's a little bit more of an angle than the other one. Okay, so while I was charging my camera, because I'm trying to stay on top of keeping the battery life going, I went ahead and did this panel over here. All I did was pretty much measure from the bottom to the top to this point right here to get my overall size, and then I measured it from about where it's sitting there to pretty much to the end of the metal over here on this side. I'll show you guys. There, my brace on this side, and then I just kind of shaped it. So it came out pretty good. I was able to kind of keep this gap closed because I've had issues with that before. But I just want to show you guys what I've been working on as kind of an experiment, see how I was going to do the other side. This was going to be the hardest side, so that way I know what I'm doing over here, have an idea of what I'm doing, and I'll show you guys exactly how I made that panel, but for that side. Okay, so starting off, I've got my piece of paper with my notes on it here. I pretty much just measured from about where this piece here stops on the nose, and I just kind of come down. So about right there, it doesn't have to be quite that perfect. And then I'll measure to the end of my steel tubing right here, which is about 13 and a half. So I know I'm writing it down because I will forget. Need 13 and a half width, and then height, all I do is go from the bottom of the nose, and it might be slightly out of view here, but I just go to the top of this piece here, which looks like 23 and a half. So, and the reason I'm eyeballing it is because I can come back and trim it if I have to. So, 13 and a half wide, and then 3 and a half tall. And that'll give me the basic shape. And the reason I'm using this is like my overall height, this point here, is because all I do is pretty much mark a 45-degree angle here because I am doing bolt-on fenders. And that will give me the final shape like y'all saw over there. And then I'll just come in here and clear out some space for the wheel. Now I also forgot to mention, so that way I can get a curve, I added 2 inches to that side, and I guess I just forgot to mention that to y'all, but I add about 2 inches of sheet metal, so instead of 13 and a half, it's 15 and a half. That way I can get my curve in here without like hitting this. And I'll still line it up at about the same place right here. So I'm actually getting pretty close to using up a whole sheet here. I actually may measure this little section here and see if I have enough on this side here. That way I don't have to cut out here. I'm trying to be as efficient as I can with this sheet metal. We just have 2 Alright, so just complication-wise, there's nowhere really for me to clamp other than the bottom here. I've got it about where I need it. So all I do next is just make a line on the back side of this metal here. And then I come in and I mark where I'm going to make my bend, because I'm going to bend part of this up and under here and then rivet it on here to add a little bit of strength to it. Now just so I do know where to put this sheet back when I put the sheet metal back on, because I am going to take it off, I'm just going to make just a few little marks on the nose. Alright, so next I'm just going to cut out the excess where my tab's going to be. I'll have to get a set of pliers to kind of peel that piece away, but just created my tab, and then I'll bend it along that line, and then it should slide, well, it should slide right up in there. And that's there, that's good. And then I'll come in with a hammer, and I'll kind of fold this piece down and kind of match it up and get in line with the nose. But yeah, that's pretty much all I need to do right there. I'll get it back in place with a set of vices. I'll go ahead and start drilling and start riveting. So next thing, I'm just going to take this little speed square here and draw my line. Alright, so that piece is done. This is going to be covered up with the fender anyway, so I'm not too worried about its shape. But that's where I need it. The next thing I'm going to do is kind of freehand how much I want to cut out for the wheel. Now, originally with my hood guard, I was actually going to do something from about here to here. But because I'm doing bolt-on fenders, I kind of want to give them a place to sit on top of this. So I'm going to run a strip this whole length, and it'll just basically be one big hood guard. Right, so I'm going to go about 2.5 inches down, or wide. Now I am going a little bit shorter this way because I don't want it to overhang the sides of the car here and be a catch point for anybody or anything. So I'm going to go just a hair short of either side. So I don't think you're going to see it on the camera, but this end here is what's bent, and right on my thumb or finger is about where it's about where I've hit it with a hammer. So that should be just enough to get a hood under. Alright, so now that this is pretty much in place where I want it, I'm going to go ahead and start drilling holes. Once I do that, I'm going to peel some of that plastic back and then rivet it in. Okay guys, so I'm not done today, but I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video, and I'm going to jump right into filming the next video. I just don't want each video to get just too long. So everything other than the first hiccup this morning with the filler panel not fitting right, I mean, that was my own fault. I definitely learned use more material than what you think you need. So it went pretty well. A little bit modifying here and there, but I feel like I'm learning. I'm kind of getting in my groove now. So I'm pretty happy with it. Still more work to do. Still got to do doors, quarters, spoiler, and roof, and fenders and hood. So it's not quite time to celebrate just yet. But I'm happy. This is a pretty good little chunk done so far. And again, I'm not done today, so still got more work to do. But I want to say a quick shout out to all of our Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for your donations. It means the world to us. It helps us keep this stuff going. I'll leave a link to the video in the top right showing you what you can get if you join our Patreon list. But guys, with that being said, thank you so much for watching the video, and as always, I will see you in the next video.